Hello. Today we're going to talk about opening and closing these very large retractable doors, which for some people it's quite a difficult operation. It's a little bit like if you've ever been asked to push a car that's broken down. It's very hard to get it going, but once it's going, it kind of gets easier. That's what these doors are like. Because we're down here and the mechanism is up there, it's very, very difficult to get them going. But if we get that right, suddenly it becomes reasonably easy. So we're going to look at some of the techniques to achieve that so that you don't end up with a sore back or a sore neck. So to start moving the panel, the first thing is to use both hands and give it a bit of a wriggle, like that. And you'll find that will start the door moving, and it's fairly easy to just gently pull it out until it gets to that point where on the left side it goes hard because it's got to the end of that frame. This is where you simply rotate the door. Again, gently, slowly, keep the door vertical. Once you're at right angles, you just simply give it a bit of a push. So we need to engage the partition in that vertical frame, like that. This is the lever that we use to secure the door and to drop the soundproof skirt. It's normally kept, and should be kept, in MP2, just under the monitor. This allows access for both MP3, 2 and 1. So it's a matter of just engage it in the rotating control, rotate it around, and you'll see and feel that the skirt at the bottom has come down. It stabilizes the door from side movement, and it adds to the soundproofing of the partition. Some of you may have noticed that we now have green dots on every panel. The reason why we've done that is because it is possible to rotate a panel through 180 degrees. The problem if we do that is that the partitions will not engage each other, and you have to have that engagement. So the dots is just an indicator that all of the panels are facing the correct way. This is the second of the full wood panels, and you can see we now have revealed a square hanging system, which you will understand the need for that with the next panel. This panel simply again comes out to that point. Again, we just rotate it once we've got to that point and connect it. It now gets a bit different. Because we've got the narrow space here in which to rotate this, there is another track that allows us to do that. So we now bring this out to the first track. And then we rotate it. If we were to bring that up to the second track, this door gets in the way. The last operation is to drop the skirt of this unit. It's not as easy as dropping the skirts on all the other panels because you've got more space. Here we don't have much space. So it's a little bit of a fiddle to get this lever in the right spot. And if you don't do it the first time, it really doesn't matter. But we hope that red dot there may help you to actually align that lever. So when you drop that down and push that lever through, we've now dropped that skirt down. So what is the benefit of dropping that last skirt down? It's amazing how sound will creep through little spaces. So if we've got people occupying MP1 and a different group occupying MP2, dropping that skirt down can really make a difference in isolating the sound. The last part is to engage the lever and actually cause that partition, vertical partition, the last one, to close on the wall, like so. And again, that seals all sound, which makes it more comfortable if you have two groups, one either side of the partition. We're going to go through the opening of the partition between MP1 and MP2. One of the first things to do before you start opening the partition is to check underneath to see if the soundproof skirt has been dropped on this door. The reason why I make that comment is if the skirt is down, you're never going to move this door, which makes it very, very difficult unless you're a very strong person. So have a look underneath to see if the soundproof skirt is down, and if it is, we will now go through how to raise that skirt before we start opening the system. So the first operation is to using the handle and to open the moving edge. As I mentioned, if the skirt is down, it's impossible to move. So you have to first check. If it is down, you need the handle located in the rotating knob, roughly where this red dot is. It's not easy to find, so don't get frustrated. Just put your hand around there, see if you can feel where it should go. Put the lever around and just fiddle around until you feel it engaged. And as you can see, I'm having trouble finding it, so don't worry if you have trouble finding it. It's not easy. There we go. Once engaged, you then rotate it, hold on to it, because it does flick. So rotate it to the other side, pull the knob out. You'll now see that that skirt has raised, which makes this door now much easier to move. With a little bit of strength, I was able to separate that partition. Once that partition is separated, then we need to just wriggle the door a little until we find that spot where you can rotate it. So I wriggled it, found that spot. I'm starting to rotate it. Again, slowly, gently. And when you get into that position, push gently on the door, because what we have to do, we've got to squeeze out the air so that this partition goes up against the wall. That houses the first one, and I can assure you, that is the hardest one to do. We're now going to house this second panel. Again, the first thing to do is to check to see if the skirt is down. Put the lever and the knob at the end here, rotates, and that will raise that skirt. That releases the door. Once the door once the partition is released, you can just give it a bit of a shove, just a little sharp tug, and that will separate the partition. This is now going to be a bit different. When we did that door, we used the first cross track. Every other door uses this outside cross track. So what we've done to try and make it easier is we put this black line with the red dots on the floor. So as you slide the partition along until that edge is roughly where that line is, you should then be able to start to rotate the door. Get it to right angles and then gently wriggle it and push it in. But it does need a wriggle. And you need both hands, because if that door twists, it'll go tight on those tracks, and now you're starting to use brute force to house the partition.